Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to the video, and today we are here for another severe weather breakdown. Now we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, including some severe storms that are moving through the area once again, a little bit of tropical activity, some huge temperature swings, and more. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the SPC outlook for today, where we have two slight risks of severe weather, a marginal risk of severe weather that extends from border to border across the entire country here. So let's go ahead and break down the threats that these bring. Now starting off with the tornado threat for today, we have a 5% risk of a tornado, okay? This is going to be down here in the Clovis-Port Hills region in New Mexico, so look out in the brown region especially for a tornado today, but in the green region as well. Also look out for that. That includes Roswell, Hobbs, Carlsbad, Hereford, and Las Vegas, so definitely look out for that in that region there. We might see a tornado or two tonight. Damaging wind threat, we have two 15% risks of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher here. We do not have any major cities in the slight risks other than Clovis, Hobbs, Carlsbad, Scottsbluff, and Port Hills. But in the 5% risk, we've got a lot of areas, so definitely look out for that today. Hail threat, we have a 15% risk of hail of 1 inch or larger, but then we also have a hatched risk of hail, so that means hail of 2 inches or larger. So if you're in the brown, then that's a 5% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger. If you're in the yellow, that's a 15% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger. But if you're in the yellow and the line circle there, that's a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger, and we've already seen some baseball-sized hail today, and it's not stopping anytime soon, okay? So we need to be on high alert in this region. We might see a pretty significant hail outbreak down here tonight. Now, moving on to tomorrow, we already have a slight risk of severe weather and another marginal risk of severe weather that extends from border to border. So let's go and break down the threats that this brings. Now, starting off with the tornado threat for tomorrow, we have a 2% risk of a tornado here. This thing is massive. The biggest cities in this are going to be Woodward, Garden City, and Norfolk, McCook, and Colby. So look out for that. Damaging wind threat for tomorrow, we have a 15% risk to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher. We might get a 30% risk out of this, and if we do, then I will be going live for that, because I'm planning on doing some live severe weather coverage if there's a big outbreak anytime soon. But as of right now, just a 15% risk. I'm not going to go live for that just yet, but I might. Hail threat, we have a hatch risk for hail tomorrow, so if you're in the brown, that's a 5% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger, and a 15% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger in the yellow, and then in the line circle in the yellow there, that's a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger. This I could also see getting upgraded to a 30% risk, and again, if it does, I will go live for that, but as of right now, nothing tomorrow is making me really want to live stream this yet. Now, moving on to Wednesday here, we already have a marginal risk of severe weather here in portions of north central Texas and southwestern Oklahoma, but we're not going to break that down just yet. We're going to go ahead and move on to the National Hurricane Center here. We have Tropical Storm Philippe, still a 50-mile-per-hour storm here. We're going to break it down a little bit later. Eastern Pacific here, we have two disturbances that have a very high chance to form. This one has a 90% chance to form the next 48 hours and a 100% chance to form the next 7 days. So this, at this point, is guaranteed to form by the National Weather Service here, okay? In fact, it might even form by the end of the day. Once we get the 4 p.m. update, which will come out right after this video goes live, we might have a tropical storm out of this, or a tropical depression rather, I don't know, but this is pointing in the northeast direction, okay? So we need to be looking out here in the desert southwest for this heading our way. It's not looking like it's going to as of right now, but things could change. Now, this disturbance has a 70% chance to form in the next 7 days. But we're not going to break that down just yet, because we don't really know at all what it's going to do, where it's going to go, whatever, if it's even going to form. Moving on to the Central Pacific here, we have nothing as of right now, so let's go ahead and move on to the map for Philippe here. So right now, Tropical Storm Philippe is currently a 50-mile-per-hour storm, like I said earlier, and it is hitting heavily on parts of the Lesser Antilles here, specifically like the Dominica region, the Guadeloupe region as well. That's a big area for it, and it's going to affect all of these little islands out here in the Lesser Antilles, with some of these downpours being extremely heavy, okay? So we might see a few inches of rain in this region, could lead to some flash flooding, but yeah, overall, we're seeing a tropical storm literally making landfall right now, okay? Next in the path is going to be Codrington here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Codrington. So look out for that. By that point, it will be a 50-mile-per-hour storm still. It's going to continue to head northwest, go off to the north here, and it's not even done at that point, because it's expected to strengthen here and head northeastward and potentially make an impact on Bermuda, okay? So Bermuda, be looking out here, all right? We could see a Category 1 hurricane landfall in this region, and that would not be good. For some reason, this map really does not want to load today, so we're just going to go ahead and move on to the Climate Prediction Center here. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Like I said in the intro, we've got some massive temperature changes going on here, okay? So now we have a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures here in portions of the upper western Midwest and the Northwest, as well as the Four Corners states even. So if you're in that pink there, once again, that's a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures. It is going to get very warm in this region, and we're not going to be seeing much of that snow that's been falling here like we have been for the past few days. So it's going to get warm once again, maybe feel like summer for some of these areas. But then in the eastern U.S., we have a 60 to 70% chance to see below average temperatures here, which is a huge change of pace. So specifically for portions like the southeast, the deep south, the northeast, the Delmarva Peninsula, portions of the Ohio Valley, and much more, that's a 60 to 70% chance to see below average temperatures in the darkest shade of blue there. So it's going to get downright chilly in some of these regions. We might see our first snow in some areas like New York or New Jersey here. So definitely be looking out for that, okay? It's going to get very chilly here. Time to bust out the fall and winter coats. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. But what's even more interesting is the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, because we're going to see so much rainfall here in the Northwest. We have a 60 to 70% chance to see above average precipitation here for portions of Northwest California, Western Oregon, and Western Washington, okay, in the darkest shade of green there. So it is going to be very wet and very warm, so this isn't going to be snow most likely, but it is going to be some very heavy rainfall, so we need to be looking out for flash flooding potential in this region. Now, we also have a huge area that's going to see below average precipitation here, but the 2 points to highlight, one is up here in the upper Midwest. This includes portions of Michigan, Wisconsin, and northeast Minnesota here. You have a 40 to 50%, a 50 to 60% chance to see below average precipitation in that region. And then the other one here, extending across portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, going into the deep south and the southeast, that is once again a 50 to 60% chance to see below average precipitation in the darkest shade of brown there. So definitely look out for that. We're going to see some drought conditions likely in that region. 8 to 14 day outlooks here. Please load, thank you. Now at this point, our cool dome is going to be basically gone, unfortunately, and the entire country is going to see a bit of a warm up here, okay? So we're going to have another heat dome move through the upper Midwest region. The last one was brutal. This one's not going to be as bad because it's going to be later in the year, and it's not going to be quite as intense, but that's still a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures in the pink there from the 10th to the 16th in portions of Minnesota, northwest Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, and extreme east central Montana. So look out for that. And then there's no area that's likely to see below average temperatures from the 10th to the 16th. So it's going to be warm fall, may start to feel like summer again up here in some of these regions, okay? Now, moving on to the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, we still have a 60 to 70% chance to see below average precipitation in this region. It's not quite as big, but it still includes portions of western Washington and northwest Oregon, and then below average precipitation is likely here for a good portion of the United States, not even just the eastern U.S. I was going to say the eastern U.S., but also going into the desert southwest, the deep south, the south central, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the northeast New England region, the Delmarva region, and much more here, okay? So below average precipitation, that's a 33 to 40% chance to see that in that region from the 10th to the 16th. Now, moving on to watches, warnings, and advisories. We currently have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect here for portions of northwest Texas and southeast New Mexico, east central New Mexico, and northeastern New Mexico here, okay? I could have just said eastern New Mexico. I don't know why I didn't just do that. But, yeah, we've got a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. The main threat with this is going to be large hail. We've got several severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, mainly in New Mexico, but we got one here in Colorado, so look out. Sorry, I burped there. So look out for that as well. We've got freeze warnings in effect here for portions portions of northwestern Colorado, and then a good chunk of winter weather advisories here in the Utah, Wyoming, Montana region, where we could see a few inches of snow, okay? So this will be one of the last snow events that you'll most likely get for a while, since it is going to heat up in this region. So take it what you can. Red flag warnings in effect here for portions of southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana, so look out for that. But other than that, pretty calm right now. We do have some coastal flood advisories in effect here, kind of just scattered across the east coast at this point. It's not quite as intense as it was. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I was thinking about going live today, but I decided not to, since we do not have too big of a risk for anything specifically. It's kind of just a general severe thunderstorm risk. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, I already said that. Okay, you know what? I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.